All right, well, happy Thursday, everyone. It's April 3rd, recording this video right around 7:30. Still very active out there, and it has been for much of Middle Tennessee and much of West Tennessee. Several tornado reports overnight, sadly. A couple fatalities located in the western part of Tennessee already, too. So, again, it's been a very busy day or night, 24-hour period for parts of the state. And Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri, all getting in on this. So right now, you see that frontal boundary extending across Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, back towards Arkansas. So we got severe weather really from Texas all the way to West Virginia earlier this morning. Even a tornado warning was in effect for this southwest corner of Pennsylvania earlier. But now a lot of the active weather, again, staying to our north and west once again like expected. But as we zoom in on some of these storms, again, you can see an active tornado warning in effect. And again, if you're watching this later in the day, the current time on this is 7:40. So as of 7:40, you got a tornado warning for Lewis County and parts of Hickman and Murray County as well. We have severe thunderstorm warnings heading up towards I-40 just south of the Nashville metro area. Severe thunderstorm warning for Smyrna, and then up through Carthage, just north of Cookeville. So this is a very strong line of storms. Again, you got to consider it's early in the morning. So we're dealing with this at 7:40. The atmosphere is very prime for severe weather. Later today, that front's going to lift back to the north, and more severe weather is going to break out across Kentucky, Illinois, parts of Missouri, into West Tennessee, North Mississippi, while we're kind of going to stay on the quiet side of this once again. So here's a look at your active flood alerts, and we got wind advisories also for North Alabama, but flash flooding is also becoming a concern across Middle Tennessee, down into West Tennessee, including Memphis and Nashville. Flood watch is in effect for much of Ohio, all the way down to the southeast corner of Texas, all of Arkansas, just about North Mississippi. So those areas are just going to get hit hard. And I was talking about this yesterday. Again, a lot of severe weather, a lot of flooding still to come, even after yesterday's high risk. The risk today, still that level 3 out of 5 for parts of Memphis, Conway down into Little Rock. Nashville under a slight risk. Now, parts of our area, Pikeville, Dunlap, Monteagle, level 1 out of 5 risk. It's conditional. Again, that was if the line gets close enough to us, and I don't think it's going to. So there could be a stray storm in these areas, but I wouldn't really expect anything tornadic. So that's good news, but we'll keep an eye on it nonetheless. And look at this. It extends all the way from basically West Texas up through Washington, D.C., and that's marginal risk almost to New York City. So this is a broad area. Again, along that frontal boundary, you get the lift. You're going to have the warm, moist air coming in from the Gulf. It's just going to make for more severe weather, again, across a pretty broad area today. The tornado threat going to be highest from Nashville down into Jackson, Memphis, Pine Bluff, Little Rock. So again, going to be another tornado threat taking shape later this afternoon and evening, especially as we get into the daytime heating. And here's a look at some of your local storm reports. So you're going to start to see this floating around social media and probably news networks. Had a tornado touchdown in Selmer, Tennessee, which is right here just to the south of Jackson. You can see the wording on this. McNairy County. We also had tornado reports in, looks like, Hardeman County and Fayette County. Also a couple tornadoes down into Tate County, Mississippi. One back towards Poinsett County in Arkansas. So aside from the tornado reports, and again, the damage coming out of Selmer, it looks like a large tornado touchdown. So prayers with those people. Hopefully no one was injured. We'll know more as the sun continues to come up. A lot of flood reports now in the Nashville metro, hail reports, wind reports. Again, this isn't just West Tennessee. I mean, over the last 2 days, Kentucky, all the way up through the Ohio Valley. We got snow reports in parts of Wisconsin and up through Minnesota. Again, these reports are expansive, but notice us here in the Tennessee Valley. You can still see that report. I'm hiding that. Nothing. So, again, things are going to stay quiet here, fortunately. You know, we've been very fortunate with this because, again, April's a very busy month. And it's certainly living up to its name. But fortunately, we're kind of, I know I just said fortunately like 5 times in a row. Ignore that. But it looks like it's going to be another dry day. Again, only a slim chance of a spotty shower. Very warm, near record values, or record highs, I should say. Upper 80s looking pretty likely. If we get more sunshine early in the day, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 90 degrees. Our record high today in Chattanooga, I believe 89. So we'll be close to that at least. Here's a look at Futurecast. This is our in-house model. That front lifts back to the north. So a lot of people have asked me, is it going to storm here? The line's getting closer and closer. Well, the frontal boundary is going to lift back to the north. Again, we have high pressure kind of controlling our steering pattern out here in the East Coast. So that's going to keep us relatively safe the next couple of days, while things are just going to be nasty along this frontal boundary. Again, later this evening, notice those cells developing back into West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, Arkansas. That's where we could have that supercell development once again. So more tornado development is certainly going to be possible. A lot of wind shear and rotation out there. As we get into Friday, this front lifts even further to the north. So that storm development going to be in places like St. Louis, up through the Ohio Valley, back into Arkansas once again. So some of these areas are just getting hit day after day after day. And then even through Saturday morning, look at that, more heavy rain into Arkansas, Missouri, up through parts of the Midwest. So it's going to be a very active couple of days for much of the country. Millions of people impacted, and you can see with our sheer hail and lightning exactly where those flare-ups are going to be. So later today, Middle Tennessee, West Tennessee, Arkansas, going up through Kentucky. And then as we get into Friday, more storms fire off. Going to be another tornado threat. Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, up into Indiana. And then that just continues. So it's going to be a cycle every day, especially during the peak heating hours. More storms fire up and then just blow up across the nation's heartland. So it is going to be a busy couple of days. If you've got friends and family to our west, call, check on them, make sure they have a severe plan. Because as we get into Friday, once again, an enhanced risk out for parts of Arkansas, down into Texas, up through West Tennessee again. Again, West Tennessee is just going to be under the gun day after day after day. Significant tornadoes possible across southern Missouri, eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas. And I know this is outside of our area, but it's still, you're going to hear a lot about it. So just want to let you know what's going on out there. And then finally, the impacts come to the Tennessee Valley late, maybe Saturday night, but likely Sunday morning. You can see that line coming through. I don't expect this to be all that severe. Again, we're not going to have a lot of instability this time of the day, but by about 5, 6 o'clock, starts to move along the plateau, kind of moving from west to east throughout the morning. And then by lunchtime, a lot of this is going to be out here. So 6 a.m. to about midday on Saturday or Sunday, going to be our chance for widespread showers and storms. And then maybe a few lingering showers throughout the day on Sunday before we finally kind of calm down weather-wise. But kind of taking a look at Saturday as this starts to finally pick up some speed. Once again, look at that. Memphis, West Tennessee, under severe threat. So that's what, at that point, be almost 5 straight days. For us, going to start to move in Saturday night along the plateau, so a strong storm or two. And then the Storm Prediction Center Saturday night into Sunday, now dropping that risk a little further to our south, Atlanta, Birmingham, along I-20. So it looks like the ingredient's not going to be all that favorable for widespread severe weather with this system Sunday. So all in all, considering what's going on to our west, I think we're really fortunate as we continue over the next couple of days. And then Sunday we could pick up, up to an inch, maybe 2 inches of rain with this system. And then after that, it's going to dry out for a while. And the temperatures are going to be the big story moving ahead. Again, near record highs possible through Saturday. Sunday's the pivot point. Look at that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, highs in the low 60s to even 50s. Be even cooler in some of the higher elevations. And the overall trend through the next 6 to 10 days, cooler temperatures on the East Coast, warmer temperatures on the West Coast. And what this typically will do is mitigate that severe risk, at least for the next week, week and a half after these storms move through on Sunday. So next week, across much of the country, especially the eastern half, should be pretty quiet weather-wise, which is good news. But also something else for you gardeners and planters to consider. Monday morning, it'll be in the 40s, so no frost potential. And even Tuesday morning, there'll be a couple areas drop down to the 30s. I'm more concerned about Wednesday morning. That's when we could be close to freezing here, even in the valley. Some of the higher elevations could drop into the 20s. So frost, freeze, possible Wednesday morning, maybe some light frost in the higher elevations on Tuesday morning. And again, this will be April 8th, April 9th. So typically we advise, and again, I'm not a master gardener. There's some things you can plant earlier. I get that, your spring varietals, but you probably want to hold off until April 15th, or at least after this next cool snap, because it's not uncommon. Again, there's nothing unusual about this. We have gotten freezing temperatures as late as April 25th here in Chattanooga before, so mid-April freeze, frost certainly looking likely heading into the first part of next week. And typically our last freeze of the season, March 24th. Last year it was March 19th. The latest, again, April 25th, and that's in Chattanooga. Of course, these numbers are a little bit different, especially for the higher elevations. But that's kind of the next thing on the weather headline list is going to be much cooler temperatures. So looking ahead, breezy, mainly dry the next couple of days, near record highs while we have the severe weather, a heavy rain out to our west. Sunday, those storms finally come through. Low in threat for severe weather. It's there, but it doesn't look all that impressive. And then after this, it turns much cooler. So don't get too used to the warm weather, or really hot weather. It's almost 90 the next couple of days, because a big time cold front is going to bring some springtime chill back to the forecast. But in the time being, just think about our friends and family members out in the middle of West Tennessee. They still got several days of severe weather to get through. Heavy rain, flooding potential before things finally calm down by the end of the weekend into next week. So we'll keep you updated if anything changes. But until then, have a good Thursday.